I gotta say, today's been a great day. Not gonna lie, absolutely fantastic day. And then I came home and I thought, I'm gonna get this over with and watch Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull. And it wasn't that bad. I didn't watch it for a long time because I remember it being horse shit, and I was like, I can't watch this again. But it's been a long time since I watched it. It came out in 2008, and I'm thinking, you know what? I'll give it one more try. I'll try and sit through this final film of Indiana Jones because now, even though he's in his 80s, they're making a fifth one. I'm like, dude, you're 80 years old, man. Why are you making the fifth one? And of course, they're saying that the fifth one is called the last crusade. So it's basically it's his final film, and I'm like, the guy is 80. He's 80 years old. Sorry for my face being a bit red, but I've been in the sun all day. I got skin burn, even though it doesn't hurt my face. It's a bit red. Anyway, besides the point, I watched it and I watched it all through, and I'm thinking it only had four major disappointments. The first part of the film was brilliant. I liked the first part. I loved it. Indiana Jones is in retiring. He's doing his school. He's teaching his school, and he's talking about archaeology. He's talking about being a archaeologist. I hate that word. It's so hard to pronounce. And then, of course, well, I can't say that now because it's times have changed. The Germans come along. I want to say the call them the other word, but I can't because it's you're not allowed to call them that anymore. So the Germans come along and they say they're gonna kill his friend if they don't find the artifact. And at first I'm thinking, are they talking about the eye of the government? No, they find this dead body, and the coffin. It's a magnetic coffin, and at first I thought it was the tomb of the government, but it's not. And I thought they were going to continue that story. And I'm thinking, didn't this thing kill them a long time ago? I'm like, I think she's like a descendant to the original boss, because they always want to take over the world and all that. And I'm thinking, here we go again. Always. That's what I don't like about the movies, man. It's always especially Hydra. They always want to take over the world. I'm like, that's such a cliched thing. I'm tired of it. But I'm watching this man, and it's an old film. It's in 2018. He's 80 now, so I'm guessing he's in his 60s. And I'm thinking, this 60-year-old man is doing all this. I don't think so. But then I'm thinking, good film, very good film. Number two, excuse me, you were in a nuclear sorry, there's something on my screen. I'm not going to touch it because it'll just go off. You were in a nuclear blast and you survived by being in the fridge. And not only did the fridge blow up and flip 10 feet in the air, crash landed, he had no broken bones. What? So you're telling me that you were in a fridge, the fridge blew up in a nuclear blast, survived, and nothing was broken? Okay, that's number two. We get to number three, and he finds his friend, and his friend's gone all insane because the crystals made him go loopy. I don't understand this movie at all, to be honest with you. I'm going to be really honest with you. I don't understand this movie. The bad guys won, and they have the crystal. So why did they need to get to the place to unlock the door? They have the crystal, and all it is back and forth of them getting the crystal. The good guys get the crystal first. The bad guys take it. also the way the plan falls out. But I'm thinking we're going back and forth. The whole point of the movie was to get the crystal, but no, they want to know more. They want to know where this crystal came from, and this is where they dropped the ball. And I'm going to get to that in a minute because you're going to be like, "Are you kidding me?" The third scene was them going off the waterfall and surviving after going off it 3 times. Every time you went off the waterfall, fair enough, it got smaller. But when it got to the third drop, it was huge. In reality, if you go off a waterfall, you ain't surviving. They survived. They survived going off a fucking waterfall without a single scratch. And somehow the tracking chip she put on him stayed intact. So the boat was destroyed and everyone is fine. Huh. Then we get to the ending, and I'll get to that in a minute, but I'm going to give a bonus run. No. You are not. There are no ants on this planet that are 1, man-eaters, and 2, that big. No. You can tell they were CGI ants because they fell into a pit of ants, and the ants ate them. I know they're the enemy, but they ate them. And then when he went to pick up his hat, they dropped the hat on the hive. They dropped his hat on the hive, and I was like, let me tell you, this is a hard movie to get through. It's just a pain in the ass to sit through. Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull is difficult to watch because you're going, no way. And then I thought to myself, well, I watched the Avengers, so I'm fine. But this is supposed to be an archaeologist looking for answers. And after everything you put me through, and I'm getting that in a minute, the guy swinging on the vines with the monkeys. Why did they have to have Shia LaBeouf as his son? Why? Just a bad type of casting, and I was like, So his best friend helps him out, but he's a double agent. 1 minute he's on his side, then he's on the enemy side, and he's back to their side again, only to go and pull a gun in Indiana Jones. I'm like, come on. Double crossing twice. Okay. Double crossing 3 times? I'm sorry. What? Oh, I'm an FBI agent, but I'm working with the Germans, and I'm like, So finally, they return the Crystal Skull back to the place. And this is where Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull, the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, drops the ball. And I'm telling you, and I'm not joking, they're aliens. They went from the Covenant, which had the power to kill souls. Okay, they went from Temple of Doom with the stones. Okay, the Last Crusade, the Holy Grail, fine, but fucking aliens. Are you fucking with me? I'm sorry for swearing, but fuck me, that is such a hard pill to swallow. And I'm like, aliens. You found a crystal skull, and it was an alien. Do you understand that it's so hard to believe that in this day and age, Dr. Jones, and I think it's in the 1960s it takes place, is going to find a god, which makes no sense because the war is over, but the Germans are still thinking, oh, it's still war for. It takes place during the Cold War, and basically World War II would have ended in that time because the war was in the 60s. And I'm like, this is why this story makes no sense. So the Germans pretend to be Americans, and they slaughter a bunch of American soldiers. And I'm like, "Ugh." So she picks the skull up and she puts it on the resting place, and her men and her just get obliterated. They get so basically, if you remember the dusting scene in Infinity War, Indiana Jones did it first. I was like, oh, fucking aliens. Indiana Jones and the crystals, the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, fucking aliens. And I'm thinking, I, and then I thought to myself, well, I did watch Wild Wild West, and it had a giant killer robot, but even then, fucking aliens, man. I was like, oh my god. But then I got to the end of them, and they got married, and he's realized that the best treasure that he ever could ask for isn't, him finding anything like the Covenant. It's the family. So him and his wife get married, and he has a kid, and the kid's all grown up, and just as he's about to pick the hat up, and you know where he's going with this joke, that he's going to become the next, he's going to take over his father's legacy. He takes the hat back and he puts it back on his head. He's like, I don't think so. I like the joke between him and his son, as he called his son Junior, because that's what, if you remember The Last Crusade, that's what, Harrison Ford Indiana Jones, Sean Connery will call Indiana Jones, he would call him Junior. He wouldn't call him, Indy or Dr. Jones, he would call him Junior because he was his son. But them two, his character's dead, and so is the other guy. And the way it ends, they get the sand fall makes them go down, but the waterfall shoots them out. The fact that the waterfall really pissed me off, because in reality they should have been dead. Surviving quicksand, okay. Surviving the ant's nest, okay. The swing from the monkeys on the vines, okay. But surviving the waterfall, no. In reality, you're dead. And I'm gonna have to give Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull C+. Good, not fantastic. Would I watch it again? Hell no. I watched Wild Wild West because I enjoyed Wild Wild West. Indiana Jones is so difficult to get through. Yeah, Harrison Ford's at his A game and he's really hilarious and he doesn't let you down. But it's Shia LaBeouf. Shia LaBeouf, man. They tried to pull Shia LaBeouf into that film. And I'm thinking at that point, so that's the Indiana Jones, the collection, and can't really see it. The fourth one at the bottom, camera's a bit blurry, sorry, but the fourth one at the bottom, that's the Crystal Skull, and I'm thinking, oh, fucking hell, what a fucking ride to sit through. But yeah, it's not as bad as I thought it was, but I'm never watching that again. I will probably watch it next year, but Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull, and now I gotta sit through and watch Strange Tide, and I'm not looking forward to that. Oh, and I already watched the Blair Witch Project, the second one. That was worse. This was better. That was worse.